the American Museum in Bath, or Claverton, as it hosts a special reenactment of the French-Indian War. You watch English redcoats, Native Americans and French partisan troops doing battle, and then you can meet them and look around their camps afterwards. Well, joining me now on the programme is Ralph Mitchard, who's the coordinator of the French and Indian Wars, and Joseph Northrop from the Montcalm and Wolfe forces. Good morning to you both, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good morning.
Very nice to have you on the programme. Ralph, first of all, give us the background to this, the French-Indian War.
Well, it's basically the colonial struggle between England and France in North America, and the Indians were basically caught in the middle and were allies to both the French and the English, and obviously the Americans, who were like the colonials, were on the British side.
It's not, we don't hear quite so much about this particular war, do we?
No, although probably the most popular thing is the film Last of the Mohicans, which has obviously brought it onto the centre stage in people's imaginations.
Joseph Northrop, let's bring you in. You say you're from the Montcalm and Wolfe forces.
Yes, sir.
These are what, exactly?
Forces of Montcalm and Wolfe are a reenactment organization in the United States that portrays the French and Indian War. We cover from 1755 to 1765, both the English, French, and Native American perspectives.
Where did you get interested in this? Or how did you get interested in it?
I've always been interested in history. My parents really made sure that we learned history from an early age. And I started out looking at doing American Civil War and found out that there was a redcoat unit there in my hometown of Huntington, Indiana. And just kind of picked it up from there. And now I'm a sergeant with the Grenadiers of the 60th Regiment. So.
In this country, as you probably are aware, Joseph, the reenactment of battles is hugely popular. I mean, things like the Sealed Knot Society, for example.
Yeah.
Is it popular in the States as well?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. Most people like to see the Civil War battles because everybody can come up and say, well, you know, my great-grandfather was with the Confederates, Appomattox or something like that.
Yeah.
But even with the French and Indian and the Rev War events and that kind of stuff, we've got a very good turnout of people. Our biggest event in Indiana will have about 5,000 participants, and we'll have about 95,000 to 100,000 people come through.
What, to watch it?
Yes, sir.
Good Lord, that's a lot of people, isn't it? That really,
yeah.
That's popular, that's popular. Ralph, how many people are you expecting to come this weekend?
Well, we're hoping to have about 100 participants, which includes Indians, civilians, redcoats and French, so it'll be a nice mixture.
Tell us what people are actually going to see.
Well, you'll be seeing redcoats like Joseph and his Royal Americans and other British redcoats, Highlanders with bagpipes, drums, and the backwoodsmen, civilians, the people who were allies to the British. And then up in the woods, hiding away in the woods, will be French partisans, French regulars, militia, and a host of savages, Eastern Woodland Indians, who are preparing to swoop down upon the manor, which is representing a farm in Ohio, and take the farm by surprise.
Yeah, but we'll clear them out.
You say that the American native Indians actually worked with both the French and the British, Ralph.
Yeah, so that's certainly true. I mean, obviously, the French were mainly associated with Indian allies, but the British did their bit to try and coax the Indians to fight on their side too.
Okay, so this all goes on over the weekend. What sort of times and so on?
Well, the museum grounds open at 12, and so people are free to come and look around and talk to the participants. The actual skirmish itself will take place at 3:30, and museum closes, I think, at 5:30.
That's on Saturday, is it?
And Sunday.
And Sunday as well. You're doing 2 days on the trot.
That's right, and we're very keen for people to come along and actually not only just watch, but to talk and to find out and interview, if you like, the people that are participating, and to learn as much as they can.
Do people ever get, pick up minor injuries in these battles? I mean, are they very enthusiastically entered into?
No, we're very careful with safety. Yeah.
What have you got? You got rifles with blank rounds in, that sort of thing?
Yeah, we have flintlock muskets with black powder, which basically we don't put any lead ball down there, which is obviously what they would have done in those days.
You don't want to put that down there, do you? My goodness me. How'd you go about getting these weapons? Because obviously they're not... are there some still remaining that people have found? Or?
Well, there are still a few original muskets in circulation, but there are a lot of very good reproductions from places like Italy, Japan, and the United States.
And what about the uniforms? How do you sort of get the authenticity of those just right?
That's part of the fun, actually, the research side of actually getting the uniforms right. And then as far as the actual making of them, it's basically down to the seamstresses, which often tends to be wives and girlfriends and friends, just getting down with a needle, really.
If you had to sell this event to people listening now, Joseph, how would you persuade people listening to our radio program right now that they really ought to be there on Saturday and Sunday?
Well, that's a good one. I'd say it's something new. I mean, we've got a crew of Americans here that this is our first time over.
Yeah.
And we kind of have a different perspective on stuff as far as historically going. And it could be interesting to come out and just, discuss this stuff with us and let us see it. Would also be a good show. I mean, we kind of call these back in the States, we call these dog and pony shows. So
why'd you call them dog and pony shows?
No, because it's put on for the public. The public comes in and they get to see us march around in circles and fire off our muskets and do our drills and camp life.
Yeah.
It gives everybody kind of a chance to get a taste of what happened in the past, something that we don't get every day anymore, and kind of a new respect for what went before us.
So when you when they come to meet you in your camp or whatever, I mean, do you actually do the whole thing in character, Joseph? Do you?
To be quite terribly honest, I wore my uniform all the way over from the States.
You didn't?
And I did, and you should have seen the looks on the plane.
I should just think so.
Well, we had 5 of us come over, so that much more interesting.
What happened when you came through customs and immigration in this country?
Oh, they said, "Oh, you're the ones."
What do your non-soldier friends think of you? They think you're like a sort of overgrown schoolboy, or
they get a kick out of it, and then some of them are kind of intimidated by it to a point until we show. They meet some of my friends that are also involved, and they kind of cool off about it.
Well, we hope you have a great time this weekend, Joseph. I hope you enjoy your stay. You say it's your first time in Britain, is it?
Yes, sir, it is.
What do you think of it so far?
It's been really neat. This is just really beautiful. It's much more than I expected overall.
Is it?
Yes. The people are still kind of leery when you walk down the street in your regimental red coat. But tell the people if you can to just not worry about it so much. Come up and say, "Hey, we're not going to bite."
Joseph, good to talk to you, and Ralph, to you as well. Thank you both very much indeed.
No problem.
And that goes on this weekend. On Saturday and Sunday. And the grounds open at midday and close, as far as we can tell, at 6 o'clock. It's £2, by the way, for adults to go in, and £1 for children if you want to see those battles reenacted and meet the players as well.